Y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Urban Anime Podcast. I am your host, Cash Combi, with my co-hosts.
Professor J, what's going on, y'all?
Todd Rona, how y'all doing?
Yeah. We got a lot to talk about this week for real. So JJK is getting crazy. One Piece is getting crazy. There's a lot being uncovered in One Piece, and there's a whole lot of fraudulence going on in JJK. So
I'm saying, can we just address it?
Fraud.
Can we just say it?
Fucking fraud.
Oh,
You called it.
Yeah.
You definitely called it. That man was a fraud. That man was up in a sport he did not belong with. He was in junior high school trying to play with NBA players. This looks bad. It looks bad. Like he wasn't even varsity. Like he wasn't even high school varsity. That was rough.
That shit was so fucking ugly
to get folded.
I don't even want to say that I feel good about it because to me, it's like I knew what's happening. I knew it was just going to get us to the next fight. It was just going to be the bridge to the next fight. Once they initiated that fucking on the hill dream sequence, I said, are you serious, nigga? There's no way you for real with this shit. Like, that quick, nigga, you didn't even put hands on him at all. Like, and it is what it is.
I just like as soon as he finished like the transformation, they're talking about, oh, he got 4 arms, he could do incantations, he could do other shit with his other 2 arms, like he's fully prepared, he doesn't have any damage to his body. And then next panel, he's just jabbing him up. He's not even using like curse techniques, like no abilities, no domain expansion. I got 4 hands and they all work sufficiently. And they're like just jabbing him up. I'm like, damn, Kashimo, like it's supposed to be made of like pure lightning or something. Like
nigga was not worthy. That's what it was. That's what it came down to. Nigga was not worthy. Like to me, once he started dick riding in the middle of the fight, looking at this nigga telling me he was beautiful and shit, I was like, all right, bro. We done here. We done. Like,
yeah, just talking about love. Sukuna's like, bro, nobody has time for this. Like, I'm cutting the planet. Like, we need to
wrap this up.
Come on now, I got receipts. Like I fought armies. What are you doing?
He's not
here
worried about none of that shit, bro. Like at the end of the day, whatever you talking about, that's not what he's worried about. That's what it comes down to. Like,
right? You struggle with a man in a tank top with a gambling addiction, and I'm out here fighting the world's strongest. You feel me? Like
once he couldn't get past the Kari, I've been saying this shit. Once he couldn't get past the Kari, it was signs. Y'all should have realized whether he used his curse technique or fucking not, it wasn't gonna be a fight against Sukuna. It was gonna be a slaughter, and that's what it was. Nigga got beat the fuck. He got bullied. Nigga activated his curse technique for the first time ever to get fucking bullied. That's crazy, bro.
Time. You hate to see it for real.
I really thought he was the main character for a minute, and then the actual main character drops in at the end of the chapter. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we're gonna look into what that's about.
He didn't even see you. He doesn't see it, right? He dies before he even realized.
They didn't even see the fight. They didn't see the fight. They thought it was their time. They thought the fight was down.
Like, all right, Kashimo's getting his ass beat. Let's just move.
Let's go.
Because
that's the
signal. Go on too long, he might just.
Don't worry, guys. Kashimo's stalling. Who? Kashimo's stalling. All right, come on. Let's hurry up.
Who let this nigga go out alone? They should have jumped him. I'm confused why they didn't initiate a jump. That should have been Gojo's down. Let's hop this nigga. Let's go.
Because Kashimo is still a problem to the rest of the sorcerers, especially in a 1v situation. Like he was lopping off limbs of Hikari, while he had his domain expansion up. Still, it didn't really matter. But he was knocking limbs off, homie. Like,
do you consider that recklessness because of his curse technique, because he knows he can regenerate, or would you consider that Kashimo just speed blitzing him? That's what I want to know, because I feel like
true.
That's my thing. I feel like Kashimo could potentially be speed blitzing him, but I'm not sure if Hikari is just that kind of fighter now, because he fights just the same even if he loses an arm. Nigga kept coming even after he lost it. Like he didn't give a fuck.
He started swinging before the arm fully regenerated, and then
he wasn't worried.
A punch with the arm that just regenerated.
That's what he's like.
He's moving different. But I think Kashimo was definitely speed blitzing him for a little bit, and then once he got that domain expansion out, he was able to just do whatever he wanted anyway. So it didn't matter if if Kashimo really hit him like that.
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I think Kashimo is not like that. I really, and this is my thing, and this is continuously what I think we've seen as it's going on. The more time advances, the better people get. You know what I'm saying? Like the better people get at sorcery. Gojo's the best master of the 6 eyes I think we've seen up until this point. The story's kind of pointed to that. We've never seen no one like him. All these other people, at the end of the day, these old sorcerers and shit, you would have took them all. I mean, if we being real, like ran through these niggas, like.
And you don't think Yuta would have struggled with Kashimo?
I think you would have took Kashimo. I think you would have took Kashimo's life.
That might have actually been worse than what
the fraudulent charges are real, bro. The case is out, man. Get the lawyers out here, bro, because it's crazy.
I think
I feel like Kashimo. I feel like Kashimo. I could see him being the strongest in his time period. I'll say that.
That's what I'm saying. He was the strongest in the old days. In the old days, he was like that. But it's like he was from like what 1600. It's been like 400 years, niggas, since you've been alive. I would think that there have been better niggas since you.
Sukuna's been around since like the war days, like for real. Like when people would like gather in fields by the thousands and just huddle up.
He's from a different time,
different time. Like it was wartime back then, and he was fighting the strongest sorcerers of wartime. Obviously,
you're not stacking up, little bro. It's not happening.
He's gonna pick up some things. And you're fighting all types of different abilities. That explains why he's so like smart. Like he's seen so much shit in the time he's been around. So many different abilities. Like he could pick up on your little bullshit.
I kind of chalked it. I think that might be his curse technique. I still think that Sukuna's curse technique might be to be able to like decipher other curse techniques and maybe not just manifest them, but because he's able to figure them out, he can just do them. I still feel like that might be.
Is what you're telling me.
Yeah, he might have. My nigga might have the Sharingan.
I don't want to believe it. Like,
I think he got something similar to that. Like he has like some. I think it's something to do with like dissection and separating. Right, he can separate things, and he's been around for so long. He just understands. Like when you separate it, you understand how everything works.
It's just reverse engineering curse.
You might be cooking.
Yeah,
you might be cooking for real. I like that.
Nah. I think that's what it is. It's just separation. He has true separation, and then Yuji's probably gonna have the reverse of it. I don't know what the reverse of separation would be. Collaboration. I don't know. He'll
fusion.
Making shit.
I guess know. Combination. He's just walking around, just
putting shit together.
Just blowing it up.
Nigga just putting shit together. Yeah.
Just the opposite of him. I think that's it. Because I've seen a theory saying that JJK is, I forgot what they're called, but like if you line it all up from like JJK 0 and the special inventory episode, the special inventory chapters, that the beginning and the end are going to mirror each other perfectly.
Like
how if you
think type deal, or is it just going to be like how you perceive it? Like
it will be the same thing. It will mirror of the first thing. So like let's say the first chapter is Megumi and Yuji, right? That whole conversation.
Mm.
Right. And the conversation is Megumi basically saying like, I'll put you down if I have to, because you're dealing with something a lot stronger than you know how to handle. Essentially, that's the gist of what he's saying.
Mm.
And that last chapter is going to be basically Yuji saying it.
Mm. Okay.
To Megumi, right? Like, yo, you're trying to suppress Sukuna. Because I think ultimately that's what's going to boil down to, like, a battle of souls or wills for the body or whatever, because I don't see any other way that he's getting that body back. But he's a little bit too popular. You're not going to kill Gojo and him together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a bit much. I mean, unless Gege is really like that, then if he's like that, then I mean, by all means, cook.
It's too late now. Gojo's dead. But...
You said what?
I said it's too late now. Gojo's dead. So
I mean, we don't know. He can. You never know what can be pulled out of that.
Oh man.
Just saying. But I do think it's going to mirror each other, the beginning and the end, and we'll look at it like that a little bit later.
Okay.
I think it's wrapping up soon.
Yeah, you think it's almost over?
I don't think it makes it past 400 chapters. No.
Nah.
Or at least I don't see it unless they. Oh no! Wait.
No, I think 400 is the good. 400 is the good
400,
number.
Yeah. I don't see it. Maybe 425 if like they're like stretching some things out really, but
we're at like what 238, so that's like another 162 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I say another 162 chapters either. I think maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like it just feels like it's the end game. He never said it, but it feels like it's towards the end.
I would say if I had to put it, I would say 100 more chapters. We could see maybe 100 more chapters of genuine material that would make sense. I think because we still have Kenjaku. We don't know what the
right. That's the only thing that I can't tell how long that is because again, he's playing 4D chess and everybody else is playing backgammon. So who knows what he's really doing?
Because we got to build up to where he's at now because he's had so much time to just fool around while everything's going on. So it's probably
would y'all be mad if he turned around like Aizen? Like I planned all of this every step along the way. This was my idea. This was my plan.
Not really because I feel like the buildup is there. I feel like the buildup is kind of there for Kenjaku in a way. Seeing that he's also been around for forever. And this nigga's been building this culling game plan and all this bullshit for forever. Like he's been going through generations of.
He's older than
bodies. Sukuna? I think he's older than him. I think he's not much older, but I definitely think he's older than him. So he's been going around doing this bullshit for forever. So I wouldn't be mad if it was like, well, you know what? This was what I wanted all along, type shit.
Yeah, and as we've seen so far, he is like a long-term planning type. So it wouldn't make sense if he's planned for all of this.
We've seen just him. I feel like the fucking UG Burt situation, as disturbing as it is, it makes all these plans valid in a way. Like it doesn't feel like
that's what I'm saying. There's like a pathway for it to like be real. All right.
Yeah, he's definitely like allowing things to take their own course, but also like steering them in a direction. You know, he's not entirely hands-on, but he knows like, you know, this has to happen. But if I capitalize on it, I can move it towards where I want it to go, type of deal. Yeah. So, like I said, I wouldn't be upset if it turned out to be, you know, all according to plan type of deal because they've already established him as that kind of character.
I mean, I personally, I don't even have a problem necessarily with ending a series when it's supposed to end. I feel like a lot of people, like, you know, Yu Yu Hakusho is only like 180 chapters or some shit. It's not even super long. Like, it's not even
that's longer than what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it feels like it's a longer series, but it's really not. It's not that long though. I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen is kind of like that, at least to where it is now. It feels like a lot of shit has happened, but it's really not that long of a series in general. So he could wrap it up, I feel like, very quickly. It doesn't have to be this like long drawn out thing with Kenjaku either. So
yeah, there's not much that can happen. There shouldn't be another big bad after Sukuna Kenjaku. Whoever's the final big bad, Sukuna could escape too. Like he can just leave right now, and then
would say he needs to.
Yes, I don't think it's in his character to even do that. Yeah, I don't think it's even.
It's not his character, man. But he can do something like, let me just cut a hole in like space. You already cut infinity, so anything's on the table now. So let me just cut a hole in space and just go here. Not because you're a threat, but because I like the cat and mouse game. You know, like the chase. Like I want you. You're not strong enough yet. Oh, this is gonna sound close. He's on his Hisoka. You're not strong enough yet, but you'll get there soon. So when you get there, come talk to me. In the meanwhile,
doesn't help that Yuji's a teenager. Doesn't help.
I'm personally invested right now because it's Yuji's coming in like he's about to do something, and last time I checked, he wasn't doing shit.
What's man's doing? What's because he's biting his wrist right now? It's like
he looks different. He's got some kind of arm shit going on. His hands look different. I don't know.
That would be nuts. Just the jaw titan lands on him, and it's a different fight entirely. I don't know. Like,
I don't know what Yuji does. I don't know what power up he could have possibly gotten that would make him close to this Sukuna strength. Even if Sukuna does go on trial, I don't see it. I don't see it because Sukuna's just gonna be like, I did it, and what? Like, and then come to the judge. Now what? Now what do you do?
Yeah, because we've already established the size of his domain expansion is like several times larger than the majority of domain expansions. So how is he even going to keep him in there if he could just slice through it?
Yeah,
that's the one major issue of like Hagoromo jumping down. But I guess he is kind of strong outside of that, but he would have to get like a full conviction to really fight with Sukuna like that.
The conviction is also like based off of like the time period too, right? Technically, if Sukuna came up during war times, he's not a criminal. He's just doing the job.
Yeah. Unless you want to like count war crimes, I don't know if they had those. And I don't feel like a lot of his killing was done in war. Well, most of it was probably done in war, but a good portion was probably like Just some guy, just some family. He walked up on by. Whoops!
Accidentally swung his arm a little bit too hard, and the whole house got erased.
His domain expansion is too large for Innocence to not get caught inside. You know what I mean? Like it's
his is borderless.
It's pretty
right?
indiscriminate. Yeah, it's borderless. So
so
pretty indiscriminate who's landing on.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate.
Like if you're within the vicinity of that domain expansion, you're dust.
Or cut. Not to say one is better than the other, but
either way you're going. So
getting evaporated.
But whatever Yuji's doing, it has to be something that could like either like suppress his power a little bit. Something I don't know. I don't know what he's cooking, but he jumped down. He's pretty confident. So
curse technique is all I can say. He's got to have a curse technique. That's it.
What could it possibly be?
Body swap. I mean, we saw him do it with that.
The captain getting you crazy.
We saw him do it I don't remember what chapter it was, but he swapped bodies with Kusakabe, and he spoke to him from Itadori's body, and it was weird, and they never spoke about it again.
Because how do you use that in combat?
I have no idea. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's kind of like Toto's ability. That's why I feel like Toto kind of got written out of the story in a way, because his ability after a while wasn't going to be able to match up against the top tiers because it wasn't offensive. He had to be with somebody else, or else he wasn't. Like, it's not doing more damage. Toto's ability, like it's not adding or stockpiling damage.
Upgraded his power. I feel like he could have. Like, if he can switch more than just himself, he could start switching like techniques.
Yeah, like, if there was something else to it, then yeah. But what would his domain be? If Toto opens a domain, which he doesn't have, but say he gets one, right? What would his domain technique be? Just switching places with the person inside the domain? Like, he doesn't have an offensive technique that's like a sure hit. Like, I'm going to kill this person with this.
I think he can probably just move everything within his space however he wants.
Like shambles?
Yeah, he's just shambling shit everywhere. Like,
but there's like a cap to that for an offensive technique.
But now you're in front of it. Deal with it.
You'd still need other things like
that. That's the thing. It's like there's a level to like how far it's gonna go in terms of offensive ability.
I don't think he was a fully thought out character when he was created, but I mean it's fair.
Well, he lost his curse technique, so I think he's gonna come back. I think because he's a genius, right? So we know he's a genius fighter, but his curse technique just isn't that great. So I feel like he might come back with something else. I don't know what, but I feel like he might come back with something else.
I don't know how he wasn't able to get his hand back. I feel like there's like a couple RCT users I would have been able to like.
What is Shoko doing? Like, what the fuck is she? Where is Shoko?
Our healer? Hello?
The fuck?
Oh no.
Yeah, where is Shoko?
Niggas are dying and shit. Like, where is Shoko? I forgot
Shoko was even a part of the story, honestly. I honestly forgot.
They got to show up when the fighting's over or something because too valuable, you just get smoked in the middle of the battlefield.
Well, when this fight is over, there's going to be no one left.
Yeah.
This is the forever fight.
This is the forever.
This is the end, okay?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it's getting there. But if Yuji is a body swap technique, I don't see why he would switch bodies with Sukuna and then destroy himself. Like, you just end up in the same situation you've been at with Sukuna's sword inside you.
My only other theory about Yuji right now is that he ate the rest of the death paintings and he gained their abilities. That's the only other way I could see Yuji powering up right now, because they've hinted at it a few times. When he was talking to Choso, he was talking about his brothers are going to live on within him. And I thought that was just like, your brothers are going to be with you forever and shit like that. But then there was another time nigga said he would eat anything to be able to kill Sukuna. I'm like, what do you mean eat anything, nigga? Like, all the fingers are gone for it. Like, there's nothing else to eat. There's nothing else for you to do type shit. So, I don't know. I feel like that could be a possibility.
His curse technique?
What was that?
Just eating, like, what if that's his curse technique? Like, if he eats something, he can extract a technique from that. Maybe only temporarily, but he can extract something from it.
But then the question comes up, why is he biting himself? You should be biting the Sukuna, like something like
a question.
You know what I mean? Like bite Hagorobo, like all the way down, like real quick.
Maybe he's still got somebody else's DNA on his wrist.
Yes, something.
Yeah, I don't know. Got a little plague on his wrist. You gotta eat that up real quick.
Had a curse weapon. Just
got a little lupus there, so he can
I just want to see him throw hands for real. I'm just curious about what the level of ability Yuji's dealing with currently, because we haven't seen him do shit in a little bit now, and I feel like he's been wildly inconsistent with like what kind of power we've seen him display. Because even the victory with Mahito, if fucking Todo wasn't there, that's not a dub. That wasn't a dub if Todo wasn't there. Like, that's just the truth. Like, not saying styles don't make fights, they do. Matchups matter, but like if Todo wasn't there, Yuji's not winning that fight.
Same thing with Nanami and against Mahito.
Yeah,
I think he wasn't being Mahito solo like that.
Pretty much.
I mean, he seems to be with somebody still. So I mean, it's consistent.
It is consistent, but I feel like just to scale him to Sukuna right here at this point in time, right? We need some kind of relevant scale to say, is Yuji as strong as Hikari right now? Is he as strong as like Yuta? Like, where is he standing? Because at this point, he's weaker than Maki in my mind. And Maki and Toji, we already know where they stand in terms of the realm of things. They're outside of that top tier, but they're up right there. They're right there, right? So if I think Yuji's weaker than that, I don't think I see how he enters the fray here. I don't see how I see him entering the fray. So I have to see some kind of scaling. He's got to do something in this next chapter. I do have a break, so nothing to worry about. But whenever the next chapter drops, we got to see something from Yuji like straight away, because I'm concerned about how this is going to go, honestly. It's just very promising.
But I think I actually don't have much faith for what Yuji's going to bring next fight, honestly. I don't think it's going to be, if anything.
Because it always comes down to just what's stopping Sukuna from just going dismantled and just.
No one can see it. That's the thing too. That's the other part about it that's really fucked up. You can't see it. Like, it's not like it's a move where it's like you're aware of it and you can kind of like dodge it in time. You have to like Kashimo felt it a little bit and was just fast enough to move out of the way, but he still took it. Like, he still like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think these niggas is doing that. That's what I'm saying. I definitely think Kashimo is probably like his ability amped him to that level where he could avoid that attack, but I don't know. I'm definitely concerned about the level to which these boys are about to attempt to throw hands.
It's not looking good for him.
No, it's not. I hope this is like a trap. Like, I hope this is like a trap where they're trying to launch a mass jumping. Like, this is just the entrance phase, and then the rest of them are gonna like come in from a different direction.
Who's the rest of them? Who else can possibly help them win this fight? That's my question.
Maki and Yuta. Those are the only two characters who are still not on the battlefield that could do some assist.
So you think Yuji, Maki, Yuta is enough to beat Sukuna?
With Hikari and Hagoromo there, that's the best hope they have. There's no one else.
Who else is?
There's no one else.
I mean, they're probably striking while Kashimo's still alive, just to see if he'll like take the hint. Like, bro, you can't beat him by yourself. Like, just
I think they were expecting Kashimo to still be alive, but he's fucking dead. Okay, so I mean, they were a little too late. He got killed that quickly, though. That's the thing. I don't think they were. I don't think they were like waiting for him to die. I think they just were like waiting for the right moment, and the nigga just got fucking smoked when the right moment was gonna appear. So
all right, guys, we'll just wait on an opportunity. Oh, he's dead. Oh, okay. All right. I guess we're going now.
Well, everybody, come on.
All right. Yuji start doing something. He's like, I don't
know. Dude, start cooking
his wrist.
At this point in time, I think the worst part about what I'm imagining is that he could just open a domain and there's not really anything they could do about it.
Nothing.
Like, that's pretty much what it is. Like, even if someone tries to stalemate it, who's winning a domain war against Sukuna?
I'll give Maki maybe a bit that she might be able to dodge it.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, because I would say Toji has been Toji has shown some good capabilities inside of a domain, but it was Dagon's domain. And Dagon's domain, I would say it was complete, but it was still like new to him. So it wasn't an experienced domain user. I don't know if Maki would be able to survive Sukuna's domain.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because it's not even like she can exit it or like do enough to really avoid it instantly. The fact that Gojo got blitzed in it, but it's too wild. It's too wild. It's too big.
It's just too far.
You're gonna be running for
a minute. Far enough away from him that it won't catch you. Like,
the fact that Gojo got blitzed in it, and I would say Gojo is the one person to scale in terms of who could last in Sukuna's domain.
Yes, he did. As somebody, I mean, he had literal infinity on his side. So yeah, he did well inside of that domain.
Still got hurt.
By the way, too, he's still looking more and more fraudulent to me.
I don't know. No, I don't know about that. I think that's the best showing we're ever gonna see. I think in a 1v1,
it wasn't 3v1. It wasn't great.
Oh, I don't know.
It wasn't.
He was kind of dancing on him.
He was dancing on this nigga.
Right, so here's my comparison. Right, who had a better showing before their death, Gojo or Jiraiya?
Gojo. I'm gonna say Gojo. Jiraiya defeated the 3 weakest pains.
He defeated them.
Yes.
But I'm saying that's the gap. He literally got closer. That's like winning 2 games in the final. That's AI winning that 1 game against Kobe and Shaq. He was this close.
But
he was very far.
He beat the domain expansion on Sukuna. He technically fought off Mahoraga for a hot minute while fighting Sukuna.
And Agito.
On top of outboxing Sukuna for 80% of the fight. I think Gojo had a great showing, and he just got hit with some fuck shit at that. I honestly
in general, but not against Sukuna. I think that's the gap. It wasn't enough direct damage to Sukuna. He didn't. There was not a point in the fight where I was just like, "Oh, Gojo actually puts off." Jiraiya,
when Sukuna started bleeding from all orifices.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Nigga Sukuna's brain exploded real quick. Like
Gojo had like a little nosebleed. He's like, damn, I used a lot of reverse technique energy. Then you look at Sukuna, eyes, nose, mouth, the shoulders, like he's just bleeding from everywhere.
What was the next panel? But what was the very next panel?
The very next panel was Gojo hitting him with a black flag. Before fully recovering, and then Sukuna.
But then Sukuna right after that was
and then Sukuna, recovered a bit and got Mahoraga out, and then he was just like, God damn, he gotta stop hitting me like that. Like I got, Gojo noticed the wheel, fell back. You feel me?
That was a crazy showing. If we're being completely honest with you, like the fact that he dealt with Mahoraga, Agito, and he really was putting hands on this nigga for most of that fight. I don't know. I'm not gonna say some fuck shit got pulled because it was impressive. Once we get Sukuna's curse technique, or once we get a little bit more like a depth on Sukuna, maybe I'll feel a little bit better about it. Because at this point, it's still kind of like, I'm not gonna say an ass pull because it wasn't, but it's.
I'm telling you, his power is separation. He just separated that domain expansion from everything.
Yeah.
He just separated, he just separated the curse technique right then and there, that split second. And use that opportunity to attack Gojo. That's the only thing that makes sense. Anything else is an ass pull, and I immediately retract my statement.
I feel like him observing Mahoraga, and if his curse technique, like you said, if he's able to like separate that curse technique and be able to apply it to his own because of that reasoning, fine, that's okay. Because it's like it's still bullshit because it's a whole move to me that you had to watch another nigga do it before you could do it. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I'll call it what it is.
And all JJK would have seen. The way it's not fair fights. It's hot.
Yeah. Niggas jump. That's what I'm saying. It is what it is. I'm not even mad it wasn't a 1v. I'm not even mad. That's what I expected. Like, if a nigga could jump, he would jump. Like,
kind of have to. I guess if you're gonna go for the win, confirm the win. Like I'm bringing.
Yeah. I'm never mad at that. A win's a win.
Right. There's no rules here. No one.
You're fighting a demon. You're fighting a literal
The only
curse.
reason you fought Gojo 1-on-1 is because he specifically requested it, and there's nothing we could do about that. Like,
yeah, we could argue with nigga.
What we are gonna do is blew me across the map if I even attempt to like get in the way. Like, stop.
I mean, it's honestly, if anyone had interfered with that fight, they would have died. Like, there's no one who could have helped at all with that fight.
Dust immediately, like within a certain distance of that fight.
And it could be the person you help him too. Like you try to jump in for Gojo, accidentally get caught up in the purple, and now you're gone.
If you get hit by either one of their domain expansions, it's over. The second you get into it, like
it's pretty much done.
Instantaneous. It's like either you're overloaded with information or you're dust.
I don't think we're gonna see anyone do as well against Sukuna. I don't think so. I think Sukuna's gonna get jumped at the end. That's what I think it is. I don't think we're gonna have a fucking. It's not going to be.
He was taken down the first time. If there was another way to do it, they had enough time to figure it out. No, we got to jump this man.
There's no way that someone's going to just run up to him and say, "Square up, nigga." At this thing, it's not happening. It's not happening.
I believe in my boy Yuta.
It's like okay. You know what my thing with Yuta is? He's like that. He's like that. He's indefinitely like that. It's just I don't know what is his domain expansion going to be. You know what I'm saying? What is his expansion going to be at this point? What's his? Because it's not like Rika is his curse technique. No. What would his expansion be?
I that's one I can't figure out.
It's so wild that a domain expansion trying to figure that out it's never going to happen.
And it's like that's the captain's abilities. That's why I feel like he's top tier already, and that's crazy because he's that strong without a domain expansion. But he doesn't have one. And if he fights Sukuna, he's cooked. If he opens the domain, he's cooked. What is he gonna do? I think he does have a simple domain. I mean, I hope so. But even still, I don't think that's enough to.
Isn't that what he learned in Africa? Is it like the?
I think so, right? I think he has a simple domain, but I don't think it's enough.
That's what Gojo used to stop Sukuna's domain. Of course, he had to like heal through it because he still got hit with it, but he technically surrounded it with a simple domain and then compressed.
Is Yuta doing that?
No. I mean, maybe
Yuta could put like I forgot the girl's name, but like just encapsulate himself. He could because he has Rika, and Rika can boost his entire abilities, right? Can't you like amplify everything he does?
But only for 5 minutes, and then on top of that, I have a serious. But once he uses it, he uses it. You can't like undo it. It's not like a
right.
Activate and unactivate it. I just don't think that's enough to defeat Sukuna. If he activates that,
I'm just saying, just to stop his domain expansion, we just got to get past this obstacle first. Once we get past that, we can figure out
we'll move on.
We got to get past this roadblock.
This is step one, and this is imperative that we get this done.
Listen, I'm going by the traditional Dragon Ball Z rules. He who powers up first loses. If he fucking uses Rika to stop that domain, after that domain and after those 5 minutes up, do you think he's boxing with Sukuna with Rika for 5 minutes enough to beat him in a fight? I don't think.
I think Sukuna's killing Rika off rip.
I don't even know if Rika's surviving the domain expansion, if I'm being completely honest with you.
That's the only thing that gives me cause for pause, because if Sukuna recognizes it, because he still retains all the information, right? So he wouldn't know. So he's just looking up like, oh yeah, that's a problem. Erase her, and then he deals with Yuta. But then you're dealing with an angry Yuta, and then it's the whole.
You're dealing with an angry 16-year-old with no like boosts. Like, was he like 20 now or something like that? Like he's getting handled.
Well, who knows? Maybe getting rid of Rita unlocks something else in him, and then that's what he gets his.
Maybe if there's some like type of like contract or something, like some type of, I don't know, something that where she dies, he just gets to take over like her power or something like that. That would be dope. I'll accept that, but
because she will only die. It is a contract because it's the ring that he wears, right?
Yeah.
The ring is their bond. So as long as he has that, so I mean, unless Sukuna cuts his whole hand off, which I mean, that's not off the table. I'm not saying that's off the table.
First thing on the table. That's you slide that forward, like cut your hand off
immediately with an unblockable, invisible slash.
What right?
Yeah. Maybe it might be bad for you. Okay, I'll take it back.
It's tough. It's really tough, and I think the reason Hagoromo came down is in case the domain expansion from Sukuna goes off, because Hagoromo, has a proficient domain expansion where he could like attempt to counter it. Hopefully it works, but I don't think he's beating out the range without like exerting massive cursed energy.
Hikari's there too, so I'm like a little hopeful that it's like it just doesn't look very like
it's not looking great.
Pretty. That's why I'm hoping that this is like the initial phase of a jumping, and once they get back down to the ground, Maki and Yuta will join the fray, and somehow they'll start trying to like interrupt Sukuna, and then Yuta opens up. Fucking Yuji opens up for his curse technique that he has. That's the only thing I can think of, because at this point, I don't see anyone. No one is throwing the ones with Sukuna anymore. We're past that point.
Unless Todo comes back with a new curse technique that allows him, and he just comes through, or no curse technique, he just comes through just boxing with straight black lightning the whole time, just black flashing him for like.
I want to scale Todo. I want to scale Todo that high. I do. I want to scale him that high. I do. I really do. Because I like Todo. I really like Todo, but
it's not looking like it.
He was keeping up, or he was saying in the fight with Mahito and Yuji that Yuji had thoroughly surpassed him, and Yuji at that point, if Todo wasn't there, was getting killed by Mahito. And I think at that point, I think we've seen now at this point. There's a gap in strength between even Kenjaku, Mahito, and then we have Sukuna. It's a massive gap between the Disaster Curses, Sukuna, and all these niggas. So it's
Kenjaku is that much stronger than Sukuna?
No, I think Kenjaku is a lot stronger than Mahito. Like I think we thought at some point that maybe the Disaster Curses were maybe somewhat approaching that level. They're not close at all to Kenjaku. I think even we've seen the special grade sorcerers aren't close to Kenjaku either. I don't think fucking any of this. Even if Yuki hadn't died the way she died, or if she opened her domain, I don't think she would have won. I don't think she would have been able to beat him.
No, I don't think she wins either.
I don't think Yuta beats him. Yeah, just not having a domain expansion again. Yuta doesn't beat him.
Gojo is the only one that clearly.
Gojo's the only one who clearly beats Kenjaku. There's no one else right now who clearly beats Kenjaku. So I think there's a gap right there. And Mahito is stronger than Yuji. So if Mahito is stronger than Yuji
now,
currently now we don't know. It's unknown.
Because
but at that point in time, for sure,
Mahito's been kind of shook at that fight. If I'm being honest, because every other time he thinks of the fight, he's like, "Oh, is he gonna hit me like Yuji did? Because that shit kind of hurt." So Mahito recognizes that Yuji is a problem, but he might be there now.
I think Yuji's definitely at that level approach. I hope he is. But fucking Todo is. I want Todo to be better. I think he still comes in handy in a fight with his previous curse technique. Like if he somehow regains Boogie Woogie, like if Shoko does her job and somehow heals him and allows him to be back to what he was, then sure, I feel like Boogie Woogie would still be like a valid curse technique option in a fight with Sukuna. I think so. I think Sukuna will get used to it. But like I think it'd be useful to disorient him at first for like a good jumping. And
I don't even think Sukuna needs to get used to it because he can still see it through the eyes of Yuji, so he already knows exactly.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, that wouldn't even work. Never mind. Yeah, he knows.
He'd be like, as soon as he claps, that other arm is gone.
Yeah, he actually knows. So forget about it.
I'm telling y'all, it's Nobara, bro. I'm telling you.
I think she's alive. I agree with you.
Last finger. Puts a nail through the finger, seals off his curse technique, and then they all jump in and start washing him. It's honestly looking like the only way. Like we've ran through so many other options it could be, but honestly, the most effective option is if Nobara is still around.
I think she has
the last finger.
I think she's alive.
I think she's alive, possibly heavily crippled, but alive.
I think she got the eye patch. In pain. Chair. Yeah, she's fucked up.
She rolls to the battlefield. You feel me?
She ate that shit. Like I mean, if like her body didn't like get superior, like her eyeball definitely did the, but
tape over the face.
Just tape over the face.
Roll in. Put the hammer in her hand. Like Nobara, just please, just nail this finger one time, and that's all you gotta do. And she gets on the keyboard. She uses to speak.
Bro, she's living. Honestly, she's living in a world of pain. She's got glass bones. She's just unhappy, man.
Just types, please kill me on the screen. we just need you to do this first. Long enough.
It's like a little fruit.
Nah.
Is she gonna do it? No, she just keeps typing "Life is Pain" on the keyboard.
She's no help. She's fucking... Nah.
She keeps repeating "Kill me."
I need a valid reason for this fight. Then that's it. Like that's all it is. That's why I think Kenjaku's gonna step in at some point, and I think he's gonna I think Suka's gonna flex. And he's going to do whatever he's going to do. And Kenjaku's going to step in and be like, that's enough. And I think possibly try to absorb this thing.
I mean, that's valid. But
that's why I might be standing on, honestly. I don't see how else we end this situation right now unless we escalate it a little further and give them more time to develop. That's it. Like, that's about it. Like, we're going classic shonen rules.
Yeah, like, just something happens that they all just split apart and just get a little stronger.
They're going to have to or some shit like that.
That's what I'm saying. Sukuna just be like, not yet, and then just does some weird cut and it sends everyone to different corners of the world, and they got to get stronger on their way back. And he's just wilding.
So we've given up on Fushiguro, right? He's dead. Megumi's dead.
It's rough. It's rough.
He's cooked.
I do want to say it, but
Because how do we fix that?
It might be a soul thing. I'm putting money on this. It's probably a soul thing. Something that just
that's ugly.
Souls. If Yuji has that ability to like be able to transport souls instead of having to swap his own, like he'll like put Megumi's soul and his soul in his own body.
I hope so. And
like to be able to like extract souls.
That's gross, bro.
I mean, if Sukuna and him could exist in the same body, in the same soul, why wouldn't he be able to, pull out Megumi? Why wouldn't he be able to have other souls within his body?
It might go that far. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
That's kind of game.
Do we really want that?
You got Yuji and Megumi in the same body. First off, if Megumi if Yuji uses Megumi's like domain expansion, if he could do shit like that,
that's a problem.
That's what I'm saying.
That is a major problem. If he's just pulling out like the Chimera Guard, like whoa.
Yeah, it could be crazy. And then he gets a hold of the the beasts, the fusion beast that he had that Sukuna had toward the end. You know what I'm saying?
Starts getting creative with it.
Starts getting nuts. It really gets out of hand. So if he could extract Megumi's soul from Sukuna and just have Megumi's soul contained within him, and he could use all his techniques and stuff, that would be a way out. It would be a way out. It wouldn't be perfect. It's still liable to be smoked immediately, but
I think that domain expansion, that entire lineage is special because that's what Sukuna kept hunting. So I just think there's something else special about that whole the 10 Shadows thing that we're not figuring out yet.
I wonder. My thing is because now it seems like he just has no use for the 10 Shadows in general now. Because now Maharag is dead. I think that's pretty much what it is. Like there's no Maharag is gone. I think at this point, Gojo destroyed it.
It's a dub.
There's no other reason to use the 10 Shadows techniques because I don't think they're like going to be as useful as the rest of Sukuna's abilities in combat, anyways. So I don't think he even has a need to use Megumi. I really do think he just used Megumi to make getting rid of Gojo like that much easier. That's pretty much what it was. Like without it, it would have been a whole other thing. Like it
would have been a ordeal to get rid of Gojo. It would have been a stalemate, if anything.
It would have been a whole thing without fucking the 10 Shadows to get rid of Gojo. Like for real. So I definitely think that this has just been what he's been wanting to do. Just get past Gojo so I could chill out. Like I could
now I could cook.
Now I could cook for us. Now I could really like start doing my evil shit. So that's where we're at right now. Niggas about to start doing his real shit. So
all right. So now that we got all those theories out there, I think it's about time we moved on to some One Piece because there's some stuff going on in there right now. We got a Gorosei member just outside, full skinned out,
demonic,
final form,
evil,
summoning himself outside, standing on in this.
Yeah,
that man teleported to the scene and said, "Who's looking at me? You have to go."
Man said, "What's your rank?" Not high enough. Blew up his head.
Blew that nigga's head up is crazy. I just want to.
It was a death stare.
Yeah. Do you think that's just an ability he's got, or do you think there's just something like a divine rule between them and like Marines?
No, that's an ability like that.
Somebody, I think it's an ability, but somebody thought, like I guess off raw scans, that it was actually Conquerors.
Don't say that. don't say no shit like that. I'm not trying to get
funneled Conquerors, like he can focus it. Because in a way you can focus Conquerors, right? Because you've seen Shanks, like basically funnel it towards
so hard their head blows. You know what's crazy? I think Shanks is capable of that to some degree.
That's what I'm saying. He may not want to.
Yeah, like he's not like a brutal killer like that. He wouldn't do that to a person, but I think he's capable of doing that. If you go walk onto a pirate ship and knock people out by walking past them, like it just from your aura alone, just your calm base stat, like you're just knocking people out with your presence. I'm pretty sure if he focuses Conqueror's haki as hard as possible, like he's blowing up somebody's head. I don't want to believe though that the Gorosei have any form of haki whatsoever. I don't want to.
I'm standing with that as well.
You don't want to believe it? I think they got.
I can't argue.
In 6 forms. I think they're a problem.
I can't label out that it's a possibility, but I don't want it to be.
Fuck that. Like, I'm not standing on that. Nah.
If they got Conquerors for real, then what?
I don't think they do.
What was going on? What was actually going on? Joy Boy had it the worst. What do you mean? He's getting jumped by like 6 niggas with Conquerors?
That's facts.
Going nuts like that? Nah, bro. Like I can see why he was taken down now. If they have Conquerors, I could genuinely see how Joy Boy lost. That's insane.
I still think none of the world government members except Sengoku have Conquerors. I still believe. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it was Conquerors. I just seen that theory though. That people are saying that it's Conquerors.
The whole demonic look kind of makes me think now that it might be Conquerors. Only specifically because of Nami. When she showed her hockey ability and she became like that devil form, you know what I mean? Maybe it's something that could be unlocked with like a certain devil fruit you have, or maybe it's just like when you get hockey to a high enough level, you just start to look like a devil, like, you know. So I don't know. There's a lot of layers here, but that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw him come out of like a demonic circle and shit. Is when Robin washed up Black Maria and she's in her whole like hell demon form. Yeah. So I'm hurt.
I think these niggas can use hockey, but I think Conqueror's hockey is off limits to them. I don't think there's any reason why they couldn't use, all the other forms, but I don't think they have that Conqueror shit. That I don't believe that, because they willingly bow down to niggas. Like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. They are made to bow down to niggas. These niggas are Celestials. They know about Eam. They do bow to this nigga. I don't know if I believe that.
But that could be their will. That could be their ambition to fucking serve Eam to the fullest extent, like absolute world.
I guess
domination, but just
subservience, nigga.
Maybe they don't see it that way. Like we see it that way because it definitely looks that way. But maybe they don't. Maybe they don't really look at it like that.
Maybe they just think it's like keeping the status quo.
If these niggas wake up every morning to lick boots, they hoes. That's all I can say for real, man. If y'all conquering the street off that whole shit, I guess so, man.
But that's their Conqueror's goal, to lick their boot the cleanest. Like,
that's what I'm saying, man. The block is fucking dead. Because what are we talking about right now? Like, this shit is fucking ridiculous.
That's the thing, though. They might see it as they just share the same will as Eam.
Hoes.
Or it might be like something like by proxy. Like, Eam's will is so powerful that those who like fall directly under him just, are forced. That will is forced upon them. So they just come across, conquerors like that.
I think personally it's what we had said before. I think their devil fruits kind of spawn from Eam, because I think Eam still just have the sea devil fruit. That's what I believe. I think he's the sea devil, and I think they're kind of like his offsprings, whether they get their powers from him or their devil fruits just derive from his will. Because like now that we know how devil fruits are kind of made, just people's ideas or wanting something, I think like Eam wanting to have his 5 little minions, be kind of like his 5, I guess, like his hand over the world in a sense. Like there's 5 of them, so it's kind of like the Gorosei are like his hand over like controlling the world in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like they're making the moves, they're doing all the shit, so they have to be a part of him. They all have to be somewhat. I think they're all demons. Like now that we've seen the reveal, they're all demons. Like the rest of them are all probably some like Japanese yokai or some shit like that. Like they're all probably.
Do you like how Saturn's look, his design?
I do.
Spider, whatever that is.
He's supposed to be like, I think they showed a picture of it on one of the fucking leakers. Might have been OPS scans. They posted some shit where it was supposed to be some like yokai, where it was an ox mixed with like a spider and a scorpion, and that's pretty much what he is. And when we look at the original panel when Sabo had entered the headquarters when they were talking to Eam and shit like that, there was one of them that had like a bull, like it had like an ox head, like it had a bull. Yeah. So I think that was him. And now he's just in his awakened form. So he's got the spider legs, and I have to look at the page to see if he had any horns or some shit like that. But I'm pretty sure that's what
he did have horns, if I remember.
Yeah, he has horns.
Yeah, so I think he's supposed to be like an ox, spider, yokai, demon shit. And I think the rest of them are all demons as well. And I think their devil fruits derive from Eam in some way. And I think Eam's the sea devil for real.
I can see that.
That's what I'm meaning.
Especially if there's like god fruits, I definitely can see that.
Why not? Why not? Niggas is evil. I mean, and I think they're all god fruits. I think they're all like the same thing. They're mythological fucking, devil fruits.
Right.
Mythological zones. Just evil. Just evil.
The summoning circle is so though. The circle is a star that says 5 all around.
It's weird as fuck. Like, it's actually crazy that this nigga just appeared and instantly killed a nigga. Just like he said it too, though. Like he said it. He straight up said it. Don't look at this nigga. And you straight up died.
Or higher was only people permitted to look at his direction.
And he felt it. I feel like that is hockey in a sense. Like he knew who looked at him based off their strength, and he killed them.
Weakling.
Yeah, he felt a weak nigga looking at me and said, "All right,
he's gotta go."
I told y'all.
I think it's dope. Like his presence was immediately noticed by every real one on the island.
Yeah,
like
he's a top tier.
Luffy had a shiver, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So. Do y'all think when Kizaru, because Kizaru, he got rocked, he got sent by Luffy. It looked bad. I don't know, but we'll see. Do you think he was reacting to Luffy's punch when he said this doesn't look good, or was he reacting to Garcia? Because he was looking at Garcia. Like when he got rocked and he got sent flying, at that moment he was looking at Garcia, and Garcia was looking at that whole confrontation because he noticed Luffy as well.
I think he was still talking about Luffy.
Yeah.
I
just looked at that page now. He's still, when he got punched, he's looking at Luffy. He's staring straight at like Luffy, but I mean it's a hook, so it's catching him off to the side, and then it's Gear 5, so his head is shifting with it.
That's definitely a Conqueror's coded hook.
Oh no, he's cooked. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think this nigga ate that shit. I don't know if he's done for. I mean, I think it would be cool if he was.
If Kizaru was out, that's crazy.
But think about it; it wouldn't be that surprising if he got laced with a Conqueror's, an advanced Conqueror's coded attack from me.
Yeah.
Luffy just put down Kaido. Let's be real now. We haven't seen any admiral show any kind of durability on the level of Kaido, so we can't say they're out of that ballpark. But I don't know if they're taking those licks like that.
But I'm not surprised that Kizaru was knocked out. But I am surprised that I'm still surprised that he got knocked out solely off the fact that now Garcia is gonna have to make more of a move. You know what I mean? He's the only one there kind of strong enough to even like fight with Luffy for real. So Luffy's kind of out of the game right now. We just saw.
I think he's about to go try to kill Luffy. I think that's what he's about to go try to do.
That's not the direct order right now. If he was smart, absolutely. But right now, the direct order is bring back Vegapunk. So I think his first priority is going to be, let me find Vegapunk. And then, if Nika's still around on the ground somewhere, I'm going to put a hole in his chest for real. But I think right now, he's looking over there. He's like, Nika, all right, he's also here. I see why we had a hard time. But
now, here's my thing. I'm not
going to get Vegapunk the fuck up out of here.
Here's my thing. Let's go over this, right? If potentially, right, the Gorosei are as old as we think they are, right? Meaning they potentially fought with or against Joy Boy, right?
Okay.
They know the potential of Nika. I'm not saying Vegapunk is not a threat. I'm not saying he's not. Y'all tried for fucking 800 years to get this fruit bag. This nigga finally awakened this shit. And he done a lot of damage to the shit or the status quo of what y'all has wanted to keep. If I'm him, if that's me, and I got any sense in my fucking body, I'm killing that nigga right fucking now. Yeah. Immediately. Fuck Vegapunk. Stand right here, nigga. You're not leaving the island anyways. I got all types of shit. Kizaru gonna be fine in a second. I'm gonna go kill that nigga.
I mean, but as far as you though, they still got one of the Vegapunks you need as a hostage. So it's just like time isn't really on your side here right now. And once they hear, I mean, if it was me on the other side and I heard one of the Gorosei just popped up on the island, I'm capping her off rip. That it's already at its peak right now. Like you gotta go. They're here.
But if you kill Luffy, are they escaping?
If they might. Depends. Luffy's been known to fight at when the tank's at 0. More than one occasion.
If Luffy gets killed, if we take Luffy off the table, are the Straw Hats escaping?
How long is it to take Luffy off the table?
If he's down right now, even if he pops up, Saturn's fresh. Nigga has not fought. Nigga is cool. If he pops up right now, even if he's like cool, say I'll give him 5 minutes. I'll give Saturn 5 minutes to walk up to him. Even if he pops up right now, I don't know if he's really boxing with this nigga right away like that. Like I feel like there's got to be some room. So hopefully someone gets in the way of that. But
well, right now it's Bonnie, right? Because she just shanked them in the middle of the street.
She did, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's good. It is good that she did that shit because when he did, I'm looking at the panel right now when he's looking at fucking Luffy fall from the sky. That nigga look shook, like he looks fucking upset seeing that nigga. Like he don't look very like nonchalant about that shit. He look like he's kind of like okay, he's like he about to fucking throw up. Right? And I don't blame this nigga. Like I don't blame. That's your number one op from fucking 800 years ago. You know what this nigga about.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that they're from 800 years ago because if you just see Luffy's abilities, not one of them said, ain't that what like Nika did to me 800 years ago? Didn't he?
I think they knew, but I don't think they thought he had the real potential. I think because of how crazy the fruit is. Because if you just the fact that he had to train from a fucking 7-year-old to even throw a punch correctly. If you got that fruit at 20, who's sitting there and like putting that much work into some bullshit like that? That's incredibly difficult to try and master, especially later in life when you're not as creative and you don't have as much patience and time. If you got that shit at 20 or some nigga pops up, I don't know if I'm taking that serious. They should have. I'm not saying should have persecuted.
Let me ask you a question. At Marineford, right? The moment you seen everything that happened at Marineford, he didn't awaken it yet, but he had good enough control. He was a threat at Marineford.
For sure.
Wouldn't from that moment right there be enough for you to be like, oh, no, he got to come off the board right now?
I told you from fucking Alabasta, I would have took this nigga off the board. The moment that he became affiliated with a fucking world government, like a nation fucking powerhouse like Alabasta, they speaking at the reverie and shit like that, and Cobra is like known across the world as a great king and leader, and Luffy saved their nation, and they love him, and nigga was staying in the castle for weeks until he felt comfortable enough to leave. That same nigga, I'm getting him off the board right fucking there. That's it. That's enough for me to say, okay, issue. Plus, knowing the history of Lily and all that shit, why the fuck would you not get that nigga off the board?
Ainz Lobby and Thriller Bark should have been the signs, honestly. Like Thriller Bark, let's say Alabasta, he kind of slipped through your fingers, right? Let's just say he slipped through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He gets to Thriller Bark and beats Shikibukai.
The trash is Shikibukai, like low tier.
This is true. This is true. The worst one
could not survive in the new world,
but he still beat one,
right?
With this devil fruit. That's more than enough reason for me to take you off the board. I don't even want you to get any closer. And then the very next island you go to is what, the whole Water 7 Ainz Lobby. Now I got to deal with that. Oh, it was reverse. Ainz Lobby was before that, right?
Was before Thriller Bark, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's even worse. Ainz Lobby. And then he goes to Thriller Bark and beats the Shikibukai?
Yeah, after you beat Rob Luch, I mean.
I personally feel like they let this nigga go on too long anyways, but I count that up. I still chalked it up to potential because to me, at this point in time, if he had died in Marineford, which he very well could have, it's not like there wasn't a shortage of times for Luffy to die on that mini side adventure.
They tried.
Like he was definitely on the brink on multiple moments. So I'll give him that. But even at that point, he still had to grow monumentally to get from there to Gear 5th. Like, there's been an exponential growth. I'd say way bigger than the start of the story till then.
But he's always been around strong people or had strong friends. You know what I mean? So it's like, even at like Marineford, like
issue. He had strong friends relative to the issue he's in.
Right.
If we're gonna be real, when he came back, well, he had Rayleigh with him. I was about to say when he came back to Marineford to ring the bell, but Rayleigh was right there. So I get it. I was gonna say I would
only get so crazy with these hitters around you. Like if we were being real and Luffy was by himself, he would have died to that Mihawk slash on Marineford. That would have been a wrap. But there's plenty of times he should have got smoked, but he just he's always had someone strong enough with him, or strong enough to get him out of there at the very least.
Yeah, except when he got frozen out, that was the one time when he just got caught lacking.
Yeah, that was just.
But that was a lesson. I mean, that was a warning in a way, because it kind of told you that you weren't ready to go to the new world at all. Like, I mean, at that point in time,
take that warning at all. Not gonna lie.
Nah,
no, they had to come teach him.
Yeah,
had to actually go and listen.
There were a few signs. There were a few signs for sure that they weren't quite.
The whole Saturday was like a really good. You're not ready yet moment.
Oh yeah, for all of them.
Right.
To me, I feel like the nigga who really learned their lesson without having to go through half of that shit was Law. Law kind of just observed that shit and saw. He was like,
no, because he didn't learn hockey, so he still didn't figure it out.
I mean, at first I would say, but he still became a warlord and had this whole plan. Like this nigga didn't jump into the new world with the rest of these niggas, and Kid got folded. The amount of Kid lost a fucking arm. Can we be
real about that and say that was a terrible plan? Like when you really think about it, like let's say they followed the plan, right? Mm-hmm. They get Kaido pissed off at Doflamingo. Kaido's not just stopping at killing Doflamingo.
Right.
He's killing everything. Like, do you not know Kaido? Like, what are you talking about?
White dress Rosa off the map, like immediately.
That's first. Everyone there is gone. Then, who did this? You let these kids do this? Bad. They're next.
Congratulations.
You still run into the same problem.
Yeah. I mean, I think that ultimately, I don't know if his plan was to, like, fight Kaido when he went to attack Doflamingo. I wonder if he was going to go to Wano when Kaido left and try to take over Wano from like within on some nut shit. Because I can't see why. Because why would he try to fight Kaido directly at that point? That wouldn't make any sense.
Jack folded with him still in it if he went over to Wano.
Honestly, I have to say he might have had another couple steps to the plan that he just hasn't got a chance to reveal.
Maybe
fucking it up immediately.
Because what was after
not where it ends. That was awful.
What was after? Yeah, exactly. Like, what came after that? Like, if you really think about it logically, the only thing I can think to do after that, after I get Kaido to leave Wano and go after Doflamingo, is to go to Wano and then, like, do what?
Who's there, right? Who are you running into?
Maybe King, Queen.
At best, this Jack is there. And you know he don't leave Jack by himself.
If they showed up, okay, but if they showed up to Wano, right? They beat Doflamingo. They show up to Wano. And it's just Jack. Or say it's Queen.
Not winning.
Luffy and Law.
Oh, Luffy and the Straw Hats.
And the Straw Hats, yeah. Because that was the plan.
Yeah. That's an easy one. No, that's easy.
That's what I think the plan was going to be. And then they were going to wait for Kaido to come back after they like.
That's where they lost. That moment right there, waiting for.
Because I think they were going to be overconfident after taking Wano. That's what I think what the plan would have been.
Thank God his plan didn't happen.
But I don't think Kaido is leaving with King and Queen.
I think he would have took King, left Queen, or maybe took Queen, left King, whichever one. Because he doesn't need much anyways. Kaido could go by his fucking self to fucking fuck up Doflamingo.
That's what I'm saying. He'd probably go by himself. But if anything, I would leave King because that's a guarantee. Like, no one's still gonna come here. Like.
True. So leave King. I don't. So what do they do then? They beat King.
King seems like the type where he wants to go because he's gonna ride for Kaido, so he's always gonna go with him. So you'll probably leave Queen and Jack, honestly.
So Queen and Jack, I think Queen and Jack are enough to be a good fight for Luffy.
And the Topiropo, Queen Jack and the Topiropo.
That's a good fight.
Let's say maybe he takes two of them with him. Or one of them. Maybe he takes who's
Is this the whole Straw Hat crew?
Yeah, the whole. I would say all Straw Hats, all of the Heart Pirates, they pull up on Wano.
I think they get worn down by numbers. Honestly,
you think so? Eventually, or do you think they make it?
The plan still fails. It wasn't really well thought through. It fails no matter what.
Because it's like even if they infiltrated Wano, like say their same plan was to make Kaido leave, so it'd be easier to infiltrate, and they just kind of like tried to blend into Wano. Kaido's still unpredictable, so even if he showed up a month later afterwards, it's not even a guaranteed safe zone for them to be there. So I really don't know. I really don't know what the plan was. I really don't.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you took over half of Wano, we're like, we got this as like a stronghold for ourselves. By the time Kaido comes back, they're rushing you. He's not even waiting. He's gonna come back and be like, "Who's there? Who? The straw who's?" And then just fly over there and just go crazy.
Yeah.
And then you lose at least 3 Straw Hats. And anyway, and all of the Heart Pirates die.
Yeah, pretty much. All the Heart Pirates are done. I mean, it's pretty much a miracle that the plan didn't go that way, honestly. Like, it's better that they ended up fighting Doflamingo directly and ended up like.
The more I think about it, that's probably one of the worst plans I've ever heard. Because Law really just did not know who Kaido was.
I don't think anyone knew. I don't think any of them really had a good understanding of what a real Yonko was, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Kid walking into Yonko territories repeatedly. The arrogance of this nigga. Like, he didn't even really fully grasp that he was so far below them.
3 separate times this dude has walked into Yonko territory. And was successful once.
I was about to say.
He
twice.
I wouldn't even say he was successful. Honestly, I would say he got lucky.
Well, he escaped.
He escaped. And he's an opportunist, and I don't blame him because the nigga he got into a good situation. Two niggas was also there who was gonna do the same shit anyways. So it's kind of like, well, good for you, nigga. Join the jumping because at the end of the day, that's what was needed.
Yeah,
a second jumping partner.
Because the way he would have got folded without Law there, like
he would have honestly, that wouldn't have even been a fight if it was just him versus Big Mom. It wouldn't have even been.
That would have been the worst. That would have been over so quick. It would have been Zoro versus Big Mom
into a wall and then roll credits.
It would have just been honestly an embarrassment. So he should be fortunate that he was there with Law, because outside of that, he's not doing shit. Even as his awakening, I don't think would have even been.
You've seen it. She got hit with the railgun. Was just annoyed.
Yeah,
it hurt her, but mildly. It wasn't like it was like a serious. Oh, I'm on my knees. Like I'm
like
feeling
exterior damage, and she takes shit.
It's just uncomfortable.
Right. It wasn't until Caitlyn came out that she was just like, "This nigga might kill me."
That's why I feel like when it comes to durability. We were talking about it earlier in the week. When it comes to durability for the top tiers, it's like it's kind of all over the place when it comes down to it, because I feel like one of the sneaky high durability people we have is Blackbeard. Blackbeard has sneaky high durability, for being real.
I've been telling you, he's got low key the highest next to Kaido.
Sneaky high,
like the second highest durability. He's been stabbed by fire, hit with an earthquake, a hockey slash. What else? Whatever happened to him fighting in the Amazon Lily, whatever happened to him fighting against Law, he takes all of the stuff.
And then on top of that, he takes double damage because of his Devil Fruit. So it's really amplified. I'm not gonna say
every hit is a critical hit. Every hit does critical damage, and it's not enough.
He's sneaky high. That's why I'm concerned about a fight with Shanks with him personally, because I think Shanks has a very high AP. Shanks' AP is high. However,
because he knows he's about to say some shit. All right, we get it.
He lost the arm. He lost an arm, and ultimately,
Kaido would never.
Damn, not even like as a kid, Kaido maybe like
nope.
Kodo. Damn, you know what's crazy? Shanks never got caught by the world government, so
he hasn't. And honestly, I blame that to recklessness, though. I blame Kaido. Kaido's recklessness is off the charts.
Kaido turned himself in and just turned himself into something he could not handle one time.
Yeah,
one time when he was in Punk Hazard, and
Garp was still around.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he was at that age. He was young still too. So I feel like we could say that that's a different level of Kaido. But Shanks losing an arm is, and it sucks in a way because I feel like it shouldn't matter, but it does matter a lot. It does matter a lot in terms of hockey control now. I think it does matter.
Those are the only two marks he got on his body, just the slash over his eye and the arm. That's it.
That's a lot more than everyone else.
Nah, Kaido was.
But Kaido got hit by a nigga using advanced Conqueror's coding. That's where
Kaido only has the X.
And he got boxed. He got boxed with that nigga threw an attack. He said, "Hold on."
3 strikes on his upper eye.
Yeah, because Blackbeard uses claws.
He can no longer do this.
What's told Wolverine to pull up? Like,
I feel like we're gonna get that rematch. We're gonna get that Shanks Blackbeard 2, and it's going to be.
I want Shanks to lose to Blackbeard, yo. I'd rather him lose to anybody else. Please.
I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a Gojo Sukuna fight. It's gonna be one of those fights.
Shanks
where
hands on him to the last minute.
I do think he's going to be putting hands on him because I think ultimately Blackbeard's inexperienced compared to Shanks with Devil Fruit. Listen. Okay, because we're not going
to. If you talk about Shanks being fraudulent, we got to talk about Garp being fraudulent.
I don't even say Shanks is fraudulent.
Garp is 88 and
he's seen it all. He has
we don't even know how long that fight was.
We saw him speed blitzing people.
Yeah, first up, not too much of my boy Garp, and then fucking Shanks. It's not even that he's. I'm scaling him lower. It's not even that. I just think Blackbeard he's got something that we're gonna see. He's a tier above
He's the strongest man in the verse.
He's the strongest man. Now. That's what I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see that because, like I think I said, we talked about it before. There's the Yonko tier, and I think for so long we've got kind of caught up in the mythos of the name the Yonko that we forgot. That's not even the fucking goal. It's the Pirate King. The goal is to be stronger than the rest of these niggas. So there's going to be niggas who are strong. You know what I'm saying? But there's somebody who's got to be the cream of the crop. At the end of the day, even the Yonko got to be left behind. You know what I mean? So it's. I don't think Shanks is gonna make it to that.
But Shanks is still on the younger side of the Yonko though. Like, isn't he like 50? Like,
he's 40. That nigga 40.
That man's still in his prime, technically.
That's why he gonna be the best example. He gonna be the best nigga to be the example. He's like literally. We think he's this. I mean, I think most niggas see him as like he's like that. He got the best crew. You know what I'm saying? He was on Gold Roger's crew. He's the gold standard of what niggas think are like a pirate. I would say
he's the perfect one surrounding him.
He's the one.
Clout.
He's the one.
He has Shanks' lore is built off of clout and Ben Beckman. That's it. No feats.
We know Kid. Listen, he put Kid down, and I think Kid was enough.
I forgot about that. That's his one feat.
That's his Kid is enough. The way he stomped Kid,
who is the worst of the best of the worst generation. Know what I mean? Like
okay. But it was enough of a stomp that I would say it made me look at him and say,
place in his own class of
all
peers.
Of the strongest people in the verse acknowledge him as one of the strongest. That's cool. Kaido. Did he not pop up?
Oh, Shanks. You're saying Shanks. I thought you said Kid. I was about to
no. Kid.
I was about to end the stream right here. I'm about to
over into a level of irrelevance that no one else can reach in the series.
I think taking Kid out is the perfect way that we saw how strong. Shanks said just levels, boy. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're strong. I'm not gonna say is he okay? You know what it was?
He's strong.
It was a Gojo, not fucking Gojo. It was a Sukuna versus Jogo moment. Nigga beat him, hit him with the flame out, had the fucking out of body experience. He said, "You strong, nigga." Patted this nigga on the shoulder, like you're strong, you're good, like you're like
you're not here.
Where the world's at right now, you're doing all right,
but you're not me type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it came down to.
I'll give Shanks this. I think he is amongst the top 5. I do. And it's going to sound like I'm hating on Shanks. But to be honest, I am. Fuck that nigga. Right? We straight Mihawk gang over here.
Real.
I'm about to put Yoro up on the wall, right? Because Shanks is a fraud. Let me get into it. First off, his one feat is smoking Kid. So what? Everybody smokes Kid. He's literally 1 in 7 since we've seen it. Garbage.
But he didn't even lose like a team member.
Who? Oh, Shanks didn't lose a team member. I mean, sure. It doesn't matter. You can conserve your team members when you lost your arm to a no-name Sea King at the beginning of the story 1,094 chapters ago. We didn't forget about that. All that conquerors hockey, all that observation. Where was that 20 minutes of future sight then? Huh? Where was it? Huh? You didn't see yourself? You didn't see you losing that ability?
He needed to create a core memory for Luffy.
He can't clap anymore. He can never.
It's honestly that one losing his arm that way is really just it honestly negs him. It does. It's unfortunate.
So that's another mark against him. And here's the other crazy thing: he lost to the weakest version of Blackbeard you will ever see.
Wait, doesn't Blackbeard still run from Sea Beast? I remember seeing there was a chapter like because he has Sanwan Wolf.
I was about to say he ain't ran since he broke.
He's been free, like
walking calmly.
Brand fucking new.
Right. But Shanks lost to base Blackbeard. Base Blackbeard.
Never said he lost. Just said he was caught.
He lost, man. He got a scar. He got 3 stripes. He took
damage. He took damage. I wouldn't say it's
permanently branded as an Adidas rep. The 3 stripes are there. Forever.
That's ugly.
Forever.
That's ugly for that nigga.
And he had the nerve to go tell Blair's daddy, yo, I was on guard. I seen it coming and couldn't do anything about it. He's a fraud.
I can't disagree with you.
He's still top 5. He's still top 5. I'll give him that. He's still top 5. But a lot of it is that whole mystique. And honestly, being real.
Honestly, we got to rethink this top 10 conversation because now that we've seen Saturn and the Gorosei it's really looking like we have to expand
I think we should save that for when we get the rest of the Gorosei out here.
I have to believe, if I'm being real with you, I have to believe the rest of them are on the same caliber. If I'm being
absolutely,
I have to. He might be maybe if he's the weaker one. I gotta say it's Inches, but I gotta believe that the rest of them are of a similar caliber and presence to this nigga. So I feel like we might have to, after we see more, obviously, the top 10 list is gonna shift. I do think so. I think we're still gonna have maybe the same solid top 3, top 4. But I do think that some places will slide.
Change in my mind.
I think the top 5 might change.
I think the top 5 will change.
Who's in your top 5?
All time?
Hey, Garcia. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna change once we start seeing shit. But
it's really difficult. But I would say
top 5 right now. Like the top 5 you have in the One Piece verse that are still alive,
currently alive.
Right now,
so, we talking all time, or are we going currently, like where they are?
Currently, who's still breathing? Who can you see in the chapter next week and not be surprised?
Eam is obviously up there.
Okay, fair.
Fun.
Shanks is up there, probably.
I'm gonna put him
I would say debatable. Yeah, debatable.
It depends on who these 3 are, but yeah.
Blackbeard. Akainu. I feel like he's probably up there. He's got to be Endgame. We haven't seen this nigga do a goddamn thing. We saw fucking a Gorosei move before this nigga. I feel like he's got to be.
Well, technically, we seen him move in the chapter before. It was him versus Kuma.
Yeah, but he wasn't really trying to do nothing to Kuma for real.
He was washing him though. Not gonna lie.
He was washing him.
Was no effort, but he was cleaning it. You know what? You're right. I take it back. I can see it kind of easily top 5.
I think he's top 5.
What was that? 3 or 4 you gave me?
4,
That's 4.
That's 4 now, right? Yeah.
I want to say Luffy, but it's like
I really have to see the results of this.
Yeah.
Of this Kizaru fight. If that hit is a knockout, then Luffy I'm putting up there.
I think Kizaru's asleep for now. I think he's gonna get back up, but I do think round 1 Kizaru's down. I think Luffy might have just put him in enough of a position that Kizaru's gonna need a second to recover.
And you know what's crazy? I would put Kuzan somewhat in there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You throwing him in the mix?
I'm throwing. Ever since we learned he's hitting as hard as Garp, bro, I'm not trying to.
But this is old Garp. That's my thing. We're not talking about if Garp in his prime is hitting niggas at
the same battleships. They were punching the same battleships, bro. On top of that, Ice Logia. What?
I don't know.
Kuzan's moved up in numbers, and I think we're really sleeping on him.
I think he's stronger than Garp. I think he's stronger, but I don't know if his AP is higher than Garp's. I think Garp's AP is still astronomical. Like I think.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like experience,
I think he like durability categories. Stamina and defense, I think, is where he gets
the buff, and then also the double fruit. So it's like he's got a whole nother power set to rely on. So
that which makes him busted.
Like, he listen, I'll give you that.
Wild. Like if he's throwing swings like that without the Logia, without hockey.
So Kuzan over Kizaru? Yeah. You think Kuzan's dealing with?
I think Kuzan and Akainu are that up there, and then Kizaru was like just below as far as like AP at least.
So you think Kuzan's having a better time with Luffy than Kizaru is right now? Because I think Kuzan might be having a worse time with Luffy.
I think Kuzan would have a really good time fighting with Luffy right now, solely because the defense and the offense he's putting out. I think he'll be able to take a hit a lot better than Kizaru's doing right now. And honestly, I think he'll be able to dish a harder one back, especially with playing tricks with the ice. Like he has maneuvers, and Luffy's gonna have a real hard time getting through, like instantly being frozen.
My thing is, differences between Kuzan and Kizaru right now is speed. And I think the difference is that Luffy he seems like he's adjusted a little bit to Kizaru moving as fast as he is recently.
He has really good battle IQ, so
he does. And I don't know, and he hasn't fought Kuzan. They clashed briefly fucking 900 chapters ago. But I just don't think that Kuzan's Devil Fruit would give him as much of an advantage as Kizaru's would in this fight. I think Kizaru's Devil Fruit gives him he can make distance a lot better than Kuzan could. You think so?
I think because it just Luffy has a hard time touching Kuzan now, right? And you touch him, he can freeze you, right? In a sense, you He can grab you, freeze you right away, even though it'll be some hockey-coated blows. I think at the same time, you're going to break him. He's going to reform. It's just going to be a harder fight, I think, overall.
Well, we haven't seen
him fighting Biscuit on steroids. I mean,
we haven't seen anyone do damage to like Kuzan for real. Like put hands on him. And
aside from him losing a leg to Kano,
but we didn't see that fight. We didn't see that fight. And was that a devil fruit consequence, or was that like what is that? What is?
Well,
he
got his leg punched off. I think that might have been a devil fruit consequence.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, to me, if we're talking about like taking licks, if he's taking licks, right? Mm-hmm. And at this point, what we've seen about Haki, I don't know if he's freezing Luffy as Luffy's punching him, like top tier fighters. I don't know if that's happening. If we're talking about someone weaker than Kuzan, maybe he's freezing you as he's hitting you, even if you're using Haki. But Luffy, with the Haki that he has, advanced Conqueror's coding, I think if he starts hitting that nigga for real, I don't think his devil fruit is coming into consequence.
He froze all of Blackbeard's crew. He froze all of them except for like Blackbeard, right?
Outside of battle, though, that's the thing. Outside of battle, and on top of that, I think Luffy
was it because he froze San Juan Wolf too.
Yeah.
So he did free San Juan Wolf
pretty quick. Like, unless San Juan is like that slow and just like,
no, I definitely think it's fast. I just don't know if it's faster than Kizaru's been attacking Luffy. That's the thing. If we're talking about scaled speed, I don't know if that's a faster speed. It's not a faster speed feed than Kizaru, and Luffy looks comfortable dealing with Kizaru. And I'm not saying he wouldn't catch Luffy frozen at some point, but I don't know if it'd be enough to.
I feel like Kuzan is hitting with the same power that Kizaru has to strike you from mad far away to hit you with. You know what I mean? Like, Kuzan is point blank at you with that kind of damage, while Kizaru is,
he has to build up some speed.
He has to actually move at the speed of light to hit you that hard type of deal. I don't know if maybe that's just to enhance how much power he already has, maybe, but it doesn't look like if he didn't need that, why would he do it? I would just kick you with my light speed foot at point blank range.
I think that's fair enough. I just have to say I don't think that Kuzan's devil fruit is the right type of devil fruit to stand up and bang with someone. I think he felt comfortable to do it with Garp because he knows Garp. And maybe, the animosity wasn't there enough to have to worry about, like, this nigga's going to kill me for real. But with a nigga like Luffy, who just fought Kaido in the ones, like, they was really just in the trenches fighting for forever. I don't know if he wants to stand in front of a nigga like Luffy and fight for an extended period of time just throwing hands. That's not a beneficial fight for him. Like,
Luffy would have to get close in a way that Kuzan can't control. You know what I mean? Because Kuzan could cut off options to get close to him. Kuzan has projectile attacks. He could freeze the entire terrain around you to set up spikes if he has to. Like, he could do all these versatile things with his fruit. And Luffy can too, technically, if she wants to, like, maybe make that ice rubber, perhaps. But it still would be a difficult time just getting in and landing those blows. And then once you finally do get in and land those blows, you got somebody who hits just as hard as you do.
So I'm not saying it's an easy fight. It's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight. It's definitely not an easy fight. I just don't know because he's definitely going to keep his distance. That's like a fact for sure. Because it's not. No one wants to fight Luffy hand to hand at this point. Lucci proved that shit. Lucci, I would say, he has to fight like hand to hand. He's gonna fight you up front. After Lucci got folded, I think it's proof you don't really want to have to fight this nigga up close if you have to. That's not the best way to fight him. So creating distance is probably the only option. I just don't know if Kuzan over a longer fight is going to have the ability to do that based on what we've seen off Luffy. I think he's going to close his distance more times than not. And like just how he caught Kizaru, like it took him a while. It took him a little bit. But once he finally caught that nigga, I think he's sleeping right now. I think he's going to get up. But I think he's like, for now, that nigga might be out to fight. And I think that's all it's really going to, at this like top level, I do think Kizaru is weaker than Kuzan, but I'm not sure if he's a better matchup per se. I don't know if he matches up as well against like someone like Luffy or even someone like fucking Mihawk. I don't know if Mihawk is a good matchup for Kuzan at all. I think Kuzan doesn't want to fight Mihawk. In terms of if they had to fight, I don't think he'd want to fight.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd want to fight.
But
I was going to throw Mihawk at the names that we might be getting for the top 5.
It's okay. So would you take Shanks off that list and put Mihawk? Because I would if I had to.
No, I would put them both. Honestly, I would probably go with Eam, Shanks, Blackbeard, Mihawk. And then the 5th spot probably would be a Kano for me right now. Yeah, I think that's the 5 I'd go with.
So do you think, this is the question, Do you think any of the Gorosei are stronger than the Admirals? Like, do you think the Gorosei are comparable or stronger?
I think right now, I think Saturn, it might be the weakest of the 5 Gorosei. Okay. I think there's a reason. I think naturally when you show him first, you use him as the scale against everyone else, but it's not going to be as good going on later. You know what I mean? Okay. It's like kind of like how Smoke got introduced really early and doesn't look great now because it's just you use the scale, so you can never kind of get over that hump. I think he's the weakest of the Gorosei, and I still think he is Admiral level, like in that realm. But I think the strongest of the Gorosei is going to be like a clear cut above them.
I think he's already stronger than the Admirals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset at that either.
Yeah, solely because it does look like he has a mythical zone, and that already puts him like Admiral level just from the fruit alone. So if he has any type of like, if his hockey's crazy, like if like we're kind of deducing that it might be, then he might already be stronger than the Admiral, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
And depending on what his fruit allows him to do, because mythical zones tend to be, outside of the realm of just, animal ability. They have like elemental control, some types. They have, other external abilities, transformations. Like, we don't even know if this is his final form. It could just be his hybrid.
I feel like at this point, nothing would surprise me in terms of strength. Like, we can go anywhere. We can go up. We can go like it doesn't really matter at this point. So I'm not truly surprised. I think the biggest concern is just how this is going to make the end game go. Because right now, it looks like we have 4 more potential top tier characters for the end game. Who's fighting those niggas? Like, how strong are these niggas? Like,
that's really what the God Knights is doing.
And then we got the God Knights out there.
That's the other part. I thought maybe the head of the God Knights and maybe like the second in command. I think the 2 of them are going to be like really up there in strength. I think one of them was used to show a feat of like a Grand Fleet member, or maybe I don't want to say a Straw Hat, but I think maybe like a Straw Hat ally.
We need something because at this point the matchups are looking crazier and crazier. Like it's getting deeper as we're getting to the end game. That's why I think Saturn's gonna get taken off the board here. Like, I think he's gonna have to get removed here because we're gonna have too many people end game sooner or later. Like, it's gonna get too deep, and I do think Shanks isn't gonna make it to the end. So I think we're gonna lose people on both sides. So it's
got to go eventually. So what do you think? All right, so this is gonna have to bring up another question. How strong do we think Dragon is that he thinks he could just stand up to the world like this?
He's got to be up there.
He's got to be. I think he's top 10, maybe not top 5 though.
Yeah, you still don't think he's top 5?
I think he's relatively strong. Like, he can dance with Kaido type strong. He can maybe not win, but like give him a good fight. I just don't think he's a world changing strong. You know what I mean? Like, not like a big shaker or mover.
I mean, he has a lot of people following him. That's what I'm saying, and they're relatively strong.
He's been around for like a year and some change, and he already got more people under his wings.
That is also true.
I think Dragon is a top 5 character. I think he's going to be a top 5 character, but I think he's going to get made as an example though. So I think we're going to get some feats, and then I think he's going to get made to be an example.
Do you think he's one of the planets?
I think.
Planet?
Yeah. Because I think there's still one out of all of them that's missing. We have the sun. We have.
We don't have a confirmed moon. We have Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus.
I don't think we have a Venus.
I don't think so.
We have Uranus, Saturn.
Saturn, right? We have Neptune as an ancient weapon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Poseidon is Pluto.
Poseidon is Pluto.
Yeah.
I think we have most of him. I don't know if he's a planet. I think he might have either been a former admiral or
former admiral. That's crazy.
Former admiral, maybe went higher than his dad and saw what shouldn't have been seen. And because you got to think about it, the admirals know about the Gorosei.
That is true.
I feel like it's not unheard of that they could know.
I mean, technically, all of the Marines do, though.
Not all of them. I don't think they know about the Gorosei to the level that like the admirals know, though. Like I think the admirals have some more insight the real true moves. Because to me, just the way that Kizaru talks about himself, nigga said, "I'm just a cog in the machine." Like nigga really does not believe that like there's anything he can do as a person that's gonna like be able to counter what the government is gonna do or wants to do. So
you think the admirals know about Eam?
No. I think no. I think Dragon might have found out about some fucking Eam. I think either the fleet admiral might know, or the admirals might have some idea about some shit because they've been to Marijois before. So it's not unheard of that they could know something. I just personally don't believe that none of the admirals have any clue at all. I think they might know like the smallest of details.
Do you think that might have something to do with the reason we haven't seen Kong in like 30 years?
Could be. Nigga might just not be like able to really leave. Nigga know too much. Like, so he's just gotta like, he just gotta fucking do his thing. Like, chill out with the fucking Celestials and shit. Like, he might be in a hostage situation to keep it a wrap. So, don't know about that nigga.
Yeah.
But,
his family somewhere begging for help.
Yeah, like they in the dark.
Maybe he like failed the mission and he was just like, "Nah, you're done."
It could be.
Smoke.
It could be. I don't put anything past this nigga Eam at this point. So I think that he might either just be dead, straight up, might just be a body in the closet right now, or he might just be in extreme fucking duress under the surface. I don't know about this nigga.
I really hope he's something mentally. Right, because he wasn't at Marijois, and everything went down at Marijois. So I'm like, when is going to be the appropriate time to bring him out? Is he even around? Did Oda?
They might flashback him. They might flashback him, show him boxing off screen before Eam turned him into a shadow puppet. Like
yeah.
Like nigga fucking emptied his body out. Yeah, like he's just done on some fucking Akatsuki shit. Has this nigga in a fucking cloak and just pulls him out when it's handy, and just dances this nigga around, makes him look like he's Kong. At this point, honestly, to be real with you, I feel like Eam's Devil Fruit, or at least what Eam's ability is when he uses Devil Fruit, is just limitless control. I definitely think that he's like, it's a zone type thing where he's like a beast of some sort, like the Sea Devil, but I think that he can control shit. And I think that's how he got his start for real. Just started controlling niggas doing his bidding, and that's just how the world moves from now on. Like once he sees power, however he did it, he's just controlling shit because everything just moves too perfectly. To say that the world government's been in control for 800 years and everything's kind of fallen into plan exactly.
Well, it's kind of easy when like your boss is immortal.
True. But everything that he planned to do worked. Like it's not like there was any real. There were maybe some minor deviations, but nothing of real like substance over the last 800 years.
I think the attacks on the Holy Land were major. I think each attack unleashed something for like fake. So I think like the God Valley incident unleashed something, and then I think the robot climbing up 200 years ago unleashed something, and everything is kind of leading up to this point.
Yeah, I definitely do think there's been like a plan on its own that's been separate from what he anticipated. But in terms of setting the tone for the world as we know it, I do think that what he thought was going to work to this point, because they've had no problem pretty much securing control over most of the planet. Like it's not like there's a ton of islands that would even dare to really challenge the world government unless they align with the revolutionaries. So they did a decent job of making sure that nobody was really going to fuck up too much, at least, because Roger's really been the only nigga, I guess, who they couldn't stop. They couldn't do anything about him. From finding the One Piece.
I really believe Roger was a God Knight. I can't wait to find out. Like I really believe he was a God Knight and he just left with Shanks. He thought Shanks was gonna be Shanks was gonna be Joy Boy. He was like, all right, I'll put my my hopes for the future in this baby, since I'm not him. and shit just went left from there.
I wonder how much the God Knights know about. Because my thing is, I feel like the Celestials, or at least the regular Celestial, I think they might know a little bit about Joy Boy, just in terms of like a fairy tale sense, where they talk about him as like a thing to be afraid of. But I wonder how much of them know about him really existing and about the real threat of, I guess, the Nika fruit or him returning type shit. Because it doesn't seem like they do. Because to me, I feel like they'd be a much more serious people. Even if they were arrogant, they'd be much more serious and aware of, like, you know, the shit going on in the world. I think, I would hope so.
But all right, because I want to lay this out just to make it make sense to myself. So Roger would be like a leaving God Knight in a situation, take Shanks with him, raises Shanks for the most part, and explains to him, like, listen, I found the One Piece, but I needed this fruit to make shit go, like, you know, work for me fully, to like fully unite the world or liberate everybody, or whatever the case. And he was just like, this fruit is imperative to being Joy Boy. So Shanks gets older, he runs down to the world government, finds where they're keeping the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and he takes it. I think that just makes a lot of sense overall for that to be the case. Like, it adds up. Why would Roger know about it? Why would Shanks know about it? It doesn't make sense that Shanks would just go after that fruit just because. So it adds up that way. Like, it makes a lot of sense.
You cooking right now. I'm just saying. I had to just you was cooking right now. Yeah, I think that's it.
Because and that's just how it ended up in Luffy's hands. Like, it all comes in that full circle. And I think the One Piece might just be the fruit. If I'm being for real. Like,
what do you mean? Like that fruit? That devil fruit?
That devil fruit. The Nika no Mi. The Sun God Model Nika.
What if, I've seen an interesting theory too. So you guys remember on way back, it was like a Rogers flashback. But then they was showing, like, on Roger's ship, they had a large egg.
Mm-hmm.
I recall.
And everyone's like, you know, trying to figure out what that egg is. What if that was like a devil fruit? Like, what if that's a fresh seeded devil fruit coming off the world tree, or a world tree, or something of that nature?
That could be something.
Just curious. I've seen a few theories about that, about maybe that egg has something to do with the One Piece too. Like, what is that egg?
Unless I'm curious about the fucking egg. I've been curious about the egg for a fucking while, to be honest with you. No clue what the fuck it is, but I hope they reveal it to us soon, because personally, it would make a lot of sense if it tied into the One Piece. Honestly, like, if it was something that needed to be there. Like, what if they left that shit at Laugh Tale? And when the strides get there, yeah, like, there's something there. Like, when they get there, there's like some wild shit's there waiting for them, and they're like, okay, well, I guess this is how we destroy the Red Line. Because I still do believe that the fucking Red Line is gonna get destroyed, and that's gonna create the all blue / the One Piece. I just think that there's too much leading into making the world unite. There's too much into, like, getting rid of the control, and the Red Line, to me, it plays into that control.
Think about what the ancient weapons are, right? I'm about to get real tinfoil hat on you real quick.
Let's go.
Think about what these ancient weapons are. Just think of the word weapons, right? You have a mermaid that can call on the sea, the strongest creatures in the sea, summon a horde of them to do whatever, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be violent. What if it's carrying people from one end of the sea to the other? They're big enough to do it.
True.
You know? What if it's move an island over here? Right? What if it's something
bring the islands together?
Bring the islands together. Create one mega continent.
Pangea
it real quick, right? One ancient weapon. Two, and a ship that can destroy islands. Or a ship that can destroy anything in front of it so it can continue to sail. Not really a weapon, But I can understand how you would say that's a weapon if you're on set thing that's being destroyed.
See,
I mean, for sure.
If it didn't create like, you know, craters like through the entire planet, then I'd be like, yeah, that could work like that. But it seems like a little overkill.
Here's my thing. My thing with the fucking Pluton is that when niggas see the design of it, they're instantly like appalled at how fucking, crazy it is. Blueprint. Niggas is like, what the fuck? Who made this? Who designed this bullshit, bro?
Was like, oh my
god. Who's trying to destroy the world? Like,
yeah, so I mean, the rest of them you might be cooking, but that shit, I feel like that shit is a fucking weapon.
Death machine, bro.
That they
made that that's shit. The last one they made when they were sick of the bullshit. Like,
yeah, niggas beat this nigga by
regular. We need to wipe him clean off the planet. For real.
Niggas was having a bad fucking day when they made that shit, bro. That
3 in the morning, sweating, drawing up blueprints.
Diabolical. Fucking diabolical design.
Listen, I just think all these tools, they're just that. They're tools being used to clear a pathway to create the All Blue. And I think they were so close to the end, and then Ian was on some hating shit and then shut it down.
I agree with that.
Because remember, there's that village in the West Blue wherever Robin got sent, where they've been building that bridge for
thousands of years.
800 years, thousands of years, something like that, longer than the Void Century, right? Like since before then. Why is that? They're trying to unite the world. I think that's the giant, the super giants, the ores, the continent pullers, the land pullers. They was moving islands to unify the world. I think that was the goal. I think the goal of the One Piece is like a poem or a message from Joy Boy saying like, hey, this is what the history was, this is what it is, and this is what we were trying to do, and this is the guy who stopped us. And it's kind of like the complete story of it. And ultimately, that's why Rayleigh was just like, when you get there, you'll make a decision, because you only really have 2 decisions, which is if everything's gathered, if you can get the other ancient weapons together and the time is right, then the 2 sovereigns will clear out the red line and finish the mission. Or if the time is not right, pass this straw hat to a young nigga until they find the right person.
Dream for everybody to get together and throw a party together. He wants everybody in the world to come together and eat food together. Like, so it would make sense. That would tie into his dream. That would be the final goal, to just bring all the
Luffy's dream is to have a global buffet.
And he can do it once they make Pangea.
That's a fact.
Though that would be continentally destructive. Like if to move an island and then, you know, bring them close enough together to not crash into each other and destroy the coasts of like 80% of your fucking island. Like, it's kind of wild, but you know, if anything could do it, it's gonna be those weapons.
Those weapons in the Tower of Freedom.
Right, and a really big boat.
That shit is going to be insane. When them shits get moving, it's gonna be different. Because I feel like we're gonna see at some point, like, what was it? The Pluton that got destroyed, the blueprint for it that got destroyed. The real one is out there. Got to be somewhere. Like, there's already one that's built that's like out there. The world government was just gonna suffice with like building.
It's in Wano.
It's in Wano, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the last one? The fucking
The other one they haven't announced yet. Well, they don't know. We don't know what it is yet.
It's Uranus, isn't it? It's Pluton, Poseidon,
Uranus.
So I feel like they might have that one. I think we talked about it. It might be the Mother Flame. Because that seems like a weapon of mass destruction. I don't know what else you would qualify that as. Put a hole through an island, destroy the island, put a hole through the earth, hole in the ocean.
Maybe it was used for something else. It was supposed to be used for something else, like breaking up the red line, because that's like a big ass mountain. What if the Mother Flame made Reverse Mountain? It's one shot to make Reverse Mountain, another shot to completely open it up.
That makes sense. I mean, the red line they said is man-made, no? Or is it like just a natural thing? I don't think it's a natural thing.
No, I don't think it's a natural thing. I'm pretty sure it's man-made.
I don't know if I just pulled that out of my ass. Hold on.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I could have sworn I heard it was because it's a wall, right? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
We're all Googling it.
Niggas don't know. So I might feel like if I don't see anything about this, I feel like it might be man-made, to be completely honest with you.
It makes sense.
Because the Celestial Dragons live on top of it. And I know at one point we knew that the Lunarians lived on top of it as well. And it's not to say that the whole red line is artificial, but I feel like the extension of it. Like I don't think it was all at one point one continuous line. Like I think it might have been like parts of it were separated, and they made it one continuous thing just to block up the world, so they wouldn't be able to collaborate. Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, just the fact that it's such a difficult journey to even get from. If you live in the East Blue, you're never probably going to ever go to the West Blue because it's too hard to cross the fucking red line to get up there and do that whole shit. Mm-hmm. It's too insane to do that. So most people don't ever do that. So there's not a lot of collaboration, and all you ever get is news from the fucking newspaper and shit like that, which is controlled by the government as it is. So motherfuckers never really get the real information as it is. So ultimately, it would make sense if the red line was just an extension of the government's control to be like, well, now it's even harder for you to fucking communicate because now you can't even just get across the Grand Line or the Calm Belt. Now there's this giant fucking barrier that's going across the whole globe. Niggas can't cross that either. So I feel like I'm on.
Right. No, I agree with that. I can see that. But if that was solely made to like destroy the red line, then I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Because especially if it's like a natural occurrence, because it may have just been the thing separating the world from itself. You know what I mean? Like it's all these people from each other, and then people like Eam just took advantage of that. Like they're already separated. Now all I have to do is put out propaganda, create a world government, and just roll over it. But if that thing was made to destroy the red line, it's kind of sucks that the world government has control over it right now, because now it's just like no other weapon like that is being made right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing to do about it. Like if you're on the other side, you're on the other side. Unless you're willing to do the whole journey around the Grand Line and under to get to the other side and exit the Grand Line somehow, then good luck to you. But
right. Beyond that, I think you can live long enough to do that.
Yeah, beyond that, it's not happening.
All right, so I want to throw out some theories for the next chapter because I think I got one.
I have some theories for sure.
I think I've said this before, but I'm just going to reiterate. I think Luffy gets captured here. I think the rest of the Straw Hats get away and Luffy gets captured here, and we're going to have a thing where we like try to get to Luffy before they bring him to the Marines, or they have to save him before he's executed. One of the two. But I think
Luffy could save him before he's executed. That's the end game then. That's immediate end of story after that.
I just don't see them being able to pick up Luffy, pick up the rest of the Straw Hats, then find a way off the island with potentially Kizaru waking up at some point and Jay Garcia fully aware of where they're at and right behind them.
Blackbeard's there, though.
See, if Blackbeard's there, it's infinitely different. Infinitely, but I don't think he is.
I stand on the opposite. I think this is a Yonko victory. I think this is
straight dub.
I think this is a dub. I think that they gather and they defeat the enemy. I don't know if they defeat Garcia directly or if they just manage to escape. I think they do manage to confront Garcia a little bit because at this point I feel like they have to. Bonnie went ahead and fucking stabbed him.
That is nuts.
She's got his attention. She's got his attention, and I don't think she's gonna let her get smoked. So I definitely think there's gonna be some interference. I think Sanji's gonna have a nice showing. I think Zoro might stop his fight with Lucci or might attempt to, and Lucci might try to keep him there. So we'll see that. But I think Luffy's going to recover enough. And I don't think Kizaru is going to be a factor until the end. And I think he's going to put him down again. But as far as Garcia.
I mean, Jinbei is still there.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like the Straw Hats have enough strength on their side to really they can Sanji, Jinbei, and Zoro. As soon as Lucci is dispatched of, there's nothing really that's going to stop that group from kind of just like controlling the pace of the tempo for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I feel like Garcia is going to have hacks because it's a mythological Delphus. He's going to have some hacks. However, I don't think it's going to be enough to put down the Straw Hat group. I think at this point with what they've dealt with, I think there's a clear level. They're they're a step above what like just one admiral and a fucking a nigga who hasn't fought in 800 years could do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if he's not 800 years ago, he's not outside fighting. That nigga's. I think he's strong. I do think he's strong. I think he's probably in that Yonko level, that admiral tier, where he's strong enough to like he can hold you there. He's doing damage. He's killing most niggas in the verse. He's an issue. However, I think that crew, they can put him down.
So you think the Straw Hats can beat any other Yonko then, without Luffy?
If Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei in their bag against another Yonko. Okay, original Yonko?
Kaido.
I don't know about Kaido.
Okay.
But Big Mom, I think they take Big Mom.
And current Yonko?
Current Yonko. Against Shanks. That's it. Okay, against Shanks, that's the issue. Is because Shanks' future sight is the barrier between getting touched and not getting touched. However, I think that Zoro is approaching that realm of strength where
might be an issue for Shanks. So who's gonna hold Ben Beckman?
I don't know. I think Zoro. We have to see Ben Beckman. I want to see him because I want to believe he's probably. We're saving him.
He pulled the pistol out when a man made a light and made him, put his hands up.
I'm thinking Ben Beckman is probably the strongest first commander. That's what I believe. I truly do believe.
Man's lopping off limbs.
We haven't seen this thing yet, so I feel like he's got to be on that level. So, but I do believe Zoro is approaching that strength. In terms of attack potency, I don't believe that is something that you want to deal with. A mix of Jinbei and Sanji tag teaming. I don't know if that's a pretty picture for most people. I don't think I don't think that people are really. I don't think people want that.
47 times now you're getting hip tossed.
I don't know.
Why am I getting jumped
here's
off?
the thing, right? So let's say it's against Big Mom, for instance, right? I think Sanji's a non-factor. He's not strong enough to do any damage to her, nor will he.
I mean, if we're talking like in the woman angle, then sure, yeah, he's not going to.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but like just his attack, like his thing is durability and defense, but he won't be able to do enough damage. He'll just be annoying to Big Mom. But his hockey isn't good enough.
I was about to say, I feel like
he's going around Queen.
I think he's hurting her, but I don't think he's hurting her like. I think Zoro is deeply hurting her. Like Zoro is she has to avoid Zoro's attacks because Zoro is hacking off her limbs. I don't think she's taking that blow that she told Kaido to dodge. I don't think she's taking that hit. She's not taking that hit.
No, yeah.
She was way more afraid of it than Kaido was. Like
she was not taking that hit. And even Kaido still was okay to dodge it. He said, all right, I'm not going to take that. Stupid to take that. It doesn't make sense. like I'm not going to die from it, but
I still have to fight 13 niggas after.
Yeah, like it don't make sense to do that kind of damage right now. So I don't think that's something Big Mom's going to want to deal with. And I think at this point, Zoro is throwing those kind of attacks around.
Well, that's the thing though. So Big Mom was smart enough and quick enough to see and react to that attack immediately.
But in the 3v1,
I don't think it matters because I think one is irrelevant. I think Sanji is totally irrelevant to the fight. I don't think he's doing anything to her, and she's flying around with Prometheus and she's got Napoleon and Hera. I don't think Sanji's a non-factor in all of that. He really is. He just doesn't die. He doesn't do any damage either. He's a net zero. You know what I mean?
Don't make me speak up for Sanji now, because listen, I don't even want to be this guy.
For it to be a problem, I do. Not enough to like take her down, but definitely enough for her to go like, I should probably block this.
I think he's enough of an issue that
he's doing more damage than what Sanji would do.
So you think who?
Kid?
I
mean, Kid's attacks is doing more damage than what Sanji could do. Unless he's going Ifrit Jambe off rip.
And Kid had a giant mech fighting Big Mom.
It was more of an annoyance more than it was actually doing damage to her. It was really Law doing the damage, which is what I'm saying. And if Sanji's inferior to that level of damage, I just don't see it as an issue. Don't get me wrong. He's got moves that can do way higher damage output and put him above that realm that can hurt her. But A, they take a lot from him. B, even if he hits her with 5 Ifrit Jambes back to back, it's not doing enough damage to actually kill her.
I think he's setting up Zoro's combos. I think I think if they're in a 3v1, if it's Jinbei, Sanji, and Zoro versus Big Mom, what Sanji and Jinbei need to do is set up Zoro's combos. Just set up Big Mom to get in the right position to get
hit with
the
3,000 worlds.
That's it. Just set her up to get hit with something. Like, because all you need to do is put her in the right positions. And I think Jinbei has enough capability.
Well, it's really Jinbei and Zoro. We can just be honest.
Listen, Sanji is putting in work. I'm not hearing it. Sanji
is going to sleep. But all arguments say, because we all know he won't actually attack her, right? Because he's just not
taking out the homies. If he's taking out the homies, he's not flying anymore. And that's what I think he's capable of doing.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Okay, he fights the homies. So he's fighting not Hera.
You think he extends? Do you think that bullshit extends to fucking inanimate fucking vast bullshit?
I think it will. Knowing Oda, it probably will.
That would be unbelievable if this nigga is fucking is scaled to that level.
So he can't touch Hera, and then he's fighting Prometheus, I guess. Sure, I guess.
If you take out Big Mom from flying,
Napoleon is in her hand.
Fuck Napoleon. Destroy Napoleon. I'm taking out her offense. That's what I'm doing if I'm Sanji. Limiting her offense. If I can't attack her, limit her options for fucking offense.
I just feel like Big Mom is like exceptionally durable compared to like most cases, if I'm being honest. Like Big Mom just was literally called an iron balloon. Like no other Yonko was really scaled to that level in terms of defense. Except for like Kaido maybe, but
and I don't even think I was hockey. That's the difference. I think Kaido is hockey, and I think she's just built differently. I don't know what it is about her.
I think she's like probably literally part giant or something that they're gonna tell us later.
Yeah, but she was even more durable than most giants.
Yeah, like she was.
Like maybe she has a strain of like ancient giant blood or something in her because she is literally built different. But I say all that to say, that's why I think Sanji would be a non-factor against her.
But Sanji's definitely going to be able to put in work against like maybe Jay Garcia, considering that,
I think Sanji has hands for Jay Garcia. I really do. I think Sanji's going to.
That's an old man. It's not like I don't know. I don't see him being like immune to attacks after getting shanked by Jewelry Bonnie, one of the weakest supernovas.
What if on the next chapter it's a smoke clone and he's on the ceiling already going after Luffy?
I'm calling Sanji and Jinbei show out next chapter, and I think they really do. I think they show out and they keep Garcia right there.
I hope so.
I'm not saying they win. Don't get me twisted.
I think they hold him. I think they hold him down.
I think they stop him. Yeah, I think they slow him down. I think there's something that Jay Garcia is gonna have to like actively pay attention to.
Yeah, because either he's gonna go after Vegapunk or he's gonna go after Luffy. Because that's like those are the two best options right now. You either fulfill the mission you came for, or you take out your ancient grudge.
And if Kizaru is down, that's so much more work for him to do. He's liable to be jumped, and the jumping is there.
I'm telling you right now, I think he's already
going to get showcase.
Down for right now.
I'm saying Nami still got Zeus.
Opposite direction. It's a showcase. He shows up. He's the science defense god. That's it.
I think he gets flexed.
Yeah, it's science defense, not hand defense.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This nigga's hands. I think he gets flexed on. I think this nigga gets immediately
with a brick.
Well, he's called the warrior god too. So I mean,
I guess warrior.
I hope. For his sake, I really hope.
You know what? You know what's crazy? You know what's actually crazy? I'm having all these flashbacks. Zoro way back in the day, nigga always like one of his common things was that nigga was an atheist, or at least he claimed he didn't pray to any god, and it's because there's no real like. It seems like in the One Piece verse, it's not that God isn't a factor, but like it's not a big part of the verse, right? But now that we've moved on, we started to see that there are gods that have existed in a mythological sense, where people like look after them or look to them in senses where like people believed enough in them that they manifested as devil fruits. I think part of the reason why we've seen that development from Zoro is because now we're going to start to have like characters that are all mythological devil. Like they all have god fruits pretty much for the most part. So it's almost like we're going to see like god killing fights. That's like the realm of One Piece that we've entered into. Like,
so, all right, I have a question. What was Gold Roger doing that he never like encountered the Gorosei like that?
I don't think they thought anyone was going to be able to do it is what it was. I don't think they thought anyone at all was going to be able to find it. They thought
whoever they sent down there was just going to die.
I don't think they thought anyone was going to find the One Piece because it was such a no one had navigated the Grand Line at all in all those years and got to the end. I don't think they ever thought anyone was ever
the closest I think the way that the world is set up now was started after Rocks, because they said it was Rocks eras first, right? So I think Rocks was the first pirate king, or closest thing to a pirate king, right? And he got so close to actually like taking the world down that the world government was like, whoa, let's create a system to stop that. And they come up with, I think right there, the Yonko and the Shikibukai system was created, like, right then and there, right? And then Roger continues his path, and then he fights Shiryu. Not Shiryu, Shiki. He fights Shiki in like the Ed War, that big incident. And then that's Roger ascending from a Shikibukai level, or an upstart, to becoming a Yonko. It's basically his Luffy versus Kaido moment, where he beats Rocks was his Kaido moment. And now whatever's happening is going to be the next step. You know what I mean? Like, Roger beating Shiki and taking that spot as a Yonko. I think Luffy and the crew escaping from this with a Vegapunk is him making the stance of as a Yonko. Like, this is him putting the stamp on it.
Okay.
There's another potential option we have here. The crew holds down Saturn until Luffy gets up. Luffy fights Saturn, puts Saturn down. Kizaru gets up.
Zoro versus Saturn and dip.
Zoro versus Kizaru.
Oh.
And the only reason why I even go to that level, the only reason why my mind even goes there is because at this point in time, right, there are very few people left that are like a genuine challenge, I would say, for Zoro to actually prove himself. I think Rob Lucci is going to be I think he's going to finish Rob Lucci. It is what it is, right? But I think there is potential for him to that's a real challenge. If he fights Kizaru and he beats Kizaru, that's a solid, you're a step above everyone else pretty much. And I think Luffy taking down, if Luffy puts down the Gorosei, because like I said, I don't think Saturn is an end game character. I think he stops right here. Either whatever happens, he dies here or he goes back. It's the end of the road for him. He showed up. He's gonna be done. He's gonna do some cool shit, but he's done here. Either Eam kills him or he doesn't leave Egghead. If Luffy puts him down, immediate status boost. If Zoro puts down a fucking Admiral, we're talking a different level right now. We're talking a different level. And I do agree with you. I feel like earlier you were saying Kuzan is probably closer to Akainu, and that's probably true. I think Kizaru's probably is the weaker of the three. That's why we saw him first, if I'm being real. So I'll give you that. But I think Zoro, I think he might pull out the dub. And I think he might show the gap between that, like, especially not even just like I want to say a Yonko crew. I just want to say that next level crew, because Yonko isn't the final stop. They're trying to ascend that final level and be a pirate king caliber crew. I think if Zoro puts down an Admiral,
that's gonna boost his numbers for real.
That's crazy. Nah, that's a wild, crazy twist of events. He takes out a light man, so he's the new Dark King for the. Yeah.
If he puts, because I go back to Rayleigh. Rayleigh was holding off Kizaru for a reason. Kizaru couldn't quite put in enough effort to stop Rayleigh. I feel like Zoro is approaching level. He should be stronger than Rayleigh now. He should be like almost as strong. He has all of the forms of Haki. He has Rio. He just learned Advanced Conqueror's Haki. I believe Rayleigh also has Advanced Conqueror's Haki. I feel like Zoro is getting to that level. He should probably be putting the pieces together to be that strongest type caliber. I think that's where we're going. There is potential there. I think so. Especially now that Saturn's on land. He transformed. He's there fully transformed. I don't see how niggas don't box now. I don't see it.
He has to. He really has to.
Hands have to be thrown.
But all right. I think this is a good point to wrap this one up. Again, we had our theories on this next chapter. Let us know what you think is going to happen. Let us know how you felt about that JJK chapter. What's Yuji doing? What the dog doing? For real, we got to know. And yeah, catch up with us next week. We'll run through all that. Maybe we'll talk about some season anime from this season. We're going to run through it. But all right.
We're going to do some stuff, yeah.
All right, bet. We'll catch y'all next week, y'all.
Later.
All right, bees, y'all.
Later.